promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show.
Later, you know what it is. Hey, ham solo. It's time, baby. Low. It's time how we do. Hey.
They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard.
I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make you bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit.
They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go.
Well, hello, everybody. It's been a little while since I did an episode of Behind Them Sticks, but I'm here with you on June 12th of 2024 with a phenomenal person that you may have or may not have heard of before. Mr. Ralph Jodice Jr. is here with me, head of PR at Xreal. Previously head of PR over at Xbox. I'm interested to hear all about what this brother has to say. Shout out to Xbox Expansion Pass and Def Leppard over here subscribing to TSWS Gaming. Thank you guys so much. But without any further ado, Ralph, what's going on, brother? How you doing? And thank you so much for appearing on today's show to talk about you know, a little bit of life happenings, what's going on at Xreal, a little bit of history behind you becoming a gamer, and then also, you know, coming to being the head of PR at Xbox at one time. I want to hear all about what you got to say, brother. Go on ahead and speak.
Thanks very much, man. I appreciate the invite. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the kind words. Great to be on and talking with you. Like, any opportunity to talk gaming is a good opportunity. So like, let's do that. So, hey, everybody, I'm Ralph. I work for Xreal and I'm happy to talk about those guys. I would love to introduce everybody to what we do. And for a little while, about 12 years, I did work with Xbox, a bunch of different roles, and I got to kind of move up some different areas and sit at a pretty cool position with the PR team over there. That's a big organization, right? It's part of a bigger organization. So there's lots of people in lots of roles over there. I can't take any credit for doing anything, but I did get to sit with the PR team and work with them on a bunch of cool moments over the past 12 years. And then jump over here with my new guys, Xreal, just back in September. So I guess I just can work for X companies. So, you know, Elon better keep his eyes open. Yeah. I'm looking at him.
You're one of the few people that says, I work at X company.
X companies.
But I have a lot of questions for you. And the way I'm going to kind of start off this interview is I'm going to ask you, like, what actually kicked off your passion for games? Like, in general, like, was it like something that you were into since like a peewee? Or did you end up being like, you know, in high school or something like that, going to the arcades, finding out that that's fun? Did you, you know, end up not getting into it until your adulthood? Like, tell me, Ralph, how you got into the whole dynamic of gaming.
Yeah, happy to. And it's probably a tale as old as time that a lot of people share. But for me, came in generations, right? There were different moments in time that re-sparked and re-brought back gaming passion and brought gaming back in. And like, this starts all these different moments. You know, it starts late 80s. You know, I'm young in the late 80s. I'm like 7 when the 80s end. But my old man brings home an Atari 2600. And like, that's console number one. So people of my generation, probably a lot of us say the 2600 was number one, and it was, right? It's got the wood slab on the front. It matched all the furniture. So I had a 2600 that introduced me to games in the very first place in the very late 80s and early 90s. And like, I still think about some of those games. Excite Bike is just, that is a top tier game that knew how to make you play and keep playing, even though you kept doing the same things over and over. So that was like a first generation introduction to video games. And then in that period where personal computers started to come home in the early 90s, we had a DOS machine that could run some early games like Oregon Trail. So I used, I went to a school where we used those games in the early 90s.
The fat floppies, the real fat floppies.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Rest in peace to the floppies. They're retired. But I played those games in school as a kid. But then as the cycles continue and the generations continue, right, we get an NES probably in 90 or 91, and like I'm glued on Super Mario Bros. Because it's like revolutionary. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Like amazing. I go through Super NES, and Mario 3 is something I can't put down, and Super Mario World are games I can't put down. Like Nintendo's got me at the time. And then I go through probably what some people might be familiar with too, a little bit of a lull as I'm going into high school and other things are grabbing attention. Then there was the one game that pulled me back in. And I see a poster behind you that I can't resist, but it was WCW NWO Revenge.
Woo-hoo, let's go.
Come on, man. I see your NWO poster.
Yes.
You can't. So that game grabs me. And what that does is, it's the Nintendo 64. We've got 4 ports for the different controllers, right? Local multiplayer is fire. And that gives me and new friends like a new activity to do, right? And like, what is this? This is 97, 98. It's still before Xbox. PlayStation is still in probably PS1, PS2 days. But a game like that gave us something to do together, where we could also take our passion for pro wrestling and put it into this game and play like that huge cast of characters, man, that brought it back too. So that brought me back into, video game passions. Finish high school, go to college, things lull a little bit more, as this is, maybe that happens for a lot of folks. And then I get lucky in the year 2012 to get a job working alongside Xbox and PR. And I'm early in my career at that point.
Let me hit the brakes on you just real quick. So, because now you're getting pretty ahead, and I'm liking the direction this is going. But let me ask you real quick. So, before you ended up getting that job, tell me about some of the struggle to get there. Because it wasn't that you just fell and you were just like, oh, I work at Xbox now. No, obviously you progressed your way up the ladder to get to the level of working for a massive major corporation like that.
Yeah, the way
some of the, some of those moments.
So yeah, that path for me went through public relations, PR, which is my job, which is my career, which is my background. And that path for me went through PR agencies. So there's PR agencies all around the world that support different clients in all sorts of different aspects. And I've worked for a couple different PR agencies that support different companies. Years ago, I worked for a PR agency that worked with Microsoft in a non-gaming role. So my first introduction to working with Microsoft was through a PR agency called Wagner Edstrom, changed their name to We. They're in Bellevue, Washington, which is close to Microsoft in Redmond, Washington.
Right.
And I supported things for Microsoft like Windows Mobile, back when Microsoft made software for early smartphones. So this is in a pre-iPhone age. So this is before 2007.
Yeah.
So I worked with Microsoft that way.
That was a big deal.
Revolutionary, right? Before that, our smartphones were just different machines, right? It was BlackBerry's game. It was Palm OS's game. And Microsoft had what they called Windows Mobile at the time. So that was my first introduction.
BlackBerry had that super special like texting ability that they had that was like way better than anybody else, and they had the whole keyboard on the phone.
That's right. Tactiles, like tactile keyboards were awesome, man. Like I love a tactile keyboard on a phone.
Like the little clicky.
That's right. You know, before that, what were we doing? Like if our early cell phones could play Snake, right? Like we all had the Nokia brick. That was a
I remember
blue thing.
T9 was my favorite way to text.
That's right. That was the only way. T9 texting, and you could play Snake. And like eventually we got like Solitaire into our phones, right? And like I loved Solitaire, man. That was a great game on PCs. You give me Solitaire on an early Windows machine, I'm gonna lose hours at a time.
Facts.
So I did some of that for mobile, and that was my introduction to Microsoft. It was through PR agency. So I got to sit with the Microsoft's Windows mobile team. And then they turned into Windows Phone. This is like 2007, 2008. So iPhone is introduced, revolutionizes what a smartphone is. Microsoft makes moves on Windows Phone, which was a really unique operating system. It had looked like what Windows 8 turned into, which has since been retired. But that was also a good way for me to start making relationships and learning how Microsoft operates and working on a consumer platform. So that was important, right? Like a company like that that's got its bread and butter in cloud and Windows and enterprise, it was cool to start making inroads with Microsoft through my PR agency.
Let me ask you a quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Do you ever see a world, and I'm not asking if you know any information or anything, I'm just asking you just to use your imagination. Do you ever see a world where Microsoft has phones again?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's the same question that you would ask. You would ask a Apple, a Microsoft, a Google, a Meta. They care about consumer products and how to reach consumers at every touch point. And I think phone is obviously such, like everyone's got one in their pocket, whether it's software or hardware, right. There's a way into that consumer. Yeah, I think there's a way that they might go back to that. I don't know, but I won't be surprised if it happens.
Gotcha. So as you said, you kind of had to work your way up from a different department and going into Xbox, right? What was kind of the air like being, you know, a Microsoft PR person? And then I'm sure, you know, I'm sure, and that even I've said it before, like, man, like, what are they doing over there? Like, like, how are they marketing? Like, I don't understand their idea or their plan, or it doesn't feel like they're doing enough in the United States, or why aren't they all over the place at like airports? Like I've said that personally myself. Like why aren't they all over the place at airports? Like they talk about this play anywhere kind of stuff. Like anywhere is an airport.
That's a very astute point. You're absolutely right. Anywhere is an airport. And I play at the airport all the time because I travel for work all the time. So I'm always playing from this, right? I always use this to play in the airport. And now like I'm glued on Game Pass. So I got the Game Pass app on my Android phone, or I boot up Game Pass through a browser on the phone, whatever experience I need. And I'm streaming in the airport all day long. And the Wi-Fi is good enough for me. It's fine. I got the few games that I want to download, or I'm streaming. Or I've got my Steam Deck over there. I've got a ROG Ally also. So I've got all my options. Like, man, I'm an airport player.
Working.
Heck yeah. Right. And like, I'll talk about how I play in the airport when I'm on a plane with my Xreal glasses. I'll get there too. So what was
I can't wait to get to the Xreal conversation, because you're going to hit me with a bunch of information that I don't know much about, so it's going to be really exciting. All this Xbox stuff I have a good idea about, but hearing some of the PR side from you, I don't understand that much. And then also that whole Xreal, just that whole meat and potatoes, like I'm excited to hear more about it. But as for right now, I want to know from you, like, as I said just a moment ago, what was like the air like in the room? What was easily attainable, and what was something that was like hard to get to maintain over there as a PR representative for Xbox?
Yeah. When I joined PR for Xbox, it was 2012, right? So 2012 is coming toward the end of the 360 days, right? 360 launches in 2005. First Xbox launches in 2001. So we can see their life cycles of like, when is the 360 era coming to a close? And it was a super exciting time to join Xbox, because words are floating around that people swear are facts. Durango is coming. the Xbox 720. It's totally going to be called the 720. That's the next gen console. Like, I love a rumor mill like that. So I joined at a time when people knew 360 was on its way. It was about to be retired. It's going to be replaced with the next gen console. And it was codenamed Durango back at the time. And that's what turned into Xbox One. So I come on board right before that happens. And the first responsibility I'm given with the PR team is apps. That was the time, that 2011, 2012, when entertainment apps first started to ship on consoles for the first time, right? So like a Netflix app on an Xbox or a PlayStation, YouTube app, Prime Video, Hulu, Vudu, right? So that was the first thing I came into, which was join the gaming team, but support the entertainment side of it. We're not doing games. And a team as big as like Xbox PR has got specialists on Minecraft, specialists on Gears of War, specialists on Halo, specialists on all the different things, accessories, software. My focus was on entertainment apps, which was unique, right? Like, I like streaming entertainment. I was all over Netflix at the time. So I come in to work with Team Xbox on PR, and it's entertainment apps. Like, here's a Wall Street Journal app on your Xbox. What do you really need that for? So it was a time of learning, time of like figuring out where this whole entertainment thing is going to go. But that was quickly followed by the unveil of Xbox One. And if you remember the unveil of Xbox One, there was a giant tent that Microsoft built on their campus, and they unveiled a thing that looked like a VCR that we were positioning as the center of the living room. And that didn't go over super well, right? The introduction of Xbox One was rough times. So
it was.
It's rough times, no doubt about it. There's no way around it. Now, I'll say, as a PR person who wants to learn from this, like, what did we do wrong? How can we get it right? And then how are you going to regain trust with customers? Bro, that was...
You just walked in the building too, right?
Just walked in, right? And like, I'm thankful. Like, I'm not running the show. I'm not the boss by any means. I'm low in my career. I'm junior, but I'm learning from really smart people who like know how to handle situations and like who have a vision. The key that I always thought was like, there's a right vision here. Some of the execution wasn't right, and that's rough. Like, the average customer don't care about that. I don't think gamers care about that. It's like, show me the product, give me my games. Why is all this attention on the living room and entertainment and like cable box pass through? That was a radical idea, that you could plug your cable box in the back of your Xbox and we could watch TV that way.
I still love it.
Yeah.
I still like that idea. I still use my Xbox One X to today, and I have one of those HDMI, like I plugged in a system selector into the HDMI out of the Xbox, or no, to the HDMI in of the Xbox, I believe. Yeah, because out goes to the TV. And I have my Dreamcast, PS3, 360, and a retro game console all plugged into my Xbox One. So then I can still be in the party chat with the homies on Xbox.
Dude, that's the setup.
Still be playing like Shenmue on freaking Dreamcast or something like that. And I'll be and I'm wearing my headsets so I can have like Spotify running too while I'm playing Dreamcast. It's great.
That's the setup, man. I love that setup. Like, that's awesome. That's great. I love that. And I'm sitting, so I got my computer right now that I'm using for this. It's sitting on top of an Xbox One. It's sitting on top of a Project Scorpio prototype. So I've got that sitting right here. So the Xbox One X was codenamed Scorpio, Project Scorpio. When we unveiled that, was awesome, right? We had a great sizzle video where Kareem Chowdhury looks at the camera. He says, "It's a monster." And we start talking about teraflops. It was really cool. It's a comeback story at this point. Xbox is getting hot again. So I've got that console sitting right here on my desk that my computer sits on, because I never want to be far away from that stuff. That's when that's when good days started to come back. And like, Xbox gets its groove back here. Now we're getting into the mid aughts, 2016, 17, 18. It's getting hot, which was exciting. Like, so, and now some of the best games in the world are coming out, games that I'm still playing today. And now I'm able to kind of progress through what I do for Xbox. Like, I go from doing entertainment apps, I start supporting Xbox Live as a service. Like, I'm starting to do PR for Xbox about Xbox Live as a service, which was cool before the name kind of retired. I do a lot of focus on the Xbox One generation, how we introduce a new console. I wrote the reviewer's guide when we sent the Xbox One to press and they would review it. Like it came with a book that we made for them, printed books, like how to use the product for the first time ever. Like, that's a different guide than what consumers get. So what that does for me, it kind of launches me into a mode where I'm working with press a lot more. And that's what's carried me throughout the rest of my career is I'm a press guy when we think about PR. I'm on the phone with reporters. I'm pitching stories. I'm taking their questions. I go hard on media and press because I like talking. I like telling our story to them. And then I like hearing what they're doing and like figuring out like, what do you want to write a story about? What do you want to tell the audience? What do you want gamers to know about? Let me help get you that access. Let me help create that story for you. Because PR people, a lot of us like to say we're storytellers. And I won't try to sound like an asshole about it, but like storytelling is such a natural part of how we communicate with one another. So that helped me move into being the press guy with Xbox. And that is what launched me into what I was able to do for the rest of my time with those guys.
Okay, yeah, amazing. So the next thing I want to ask you in particular is like, and I only got a few more questions in revolving around Xbox in particular. But one of them is, what was one of the like aha moments, and maybe what was like also an oh shit moment that you got from being in the PR team over there at Xbox?
It's the same answer for both. It's the same thing for both questions, and I'll come up with other answers too. But here it is. Here was an aha moment and an oh shit moment at the exact same time. And it was awesome. It's something I loved being a part of that I talk about with anybody who will listen to me. It was December of, let's see, it must have been 22. Yeah, it must have been December in 2022. And I got a call from somebody on the team. They said, hey, I need to talk to you about something. Don't tell anybody, top secret information. We're buying Activision. And for me, that was, oh shit. How are you going how do you do that? And then I asked them the question like, and Blizzard and King? And they go, of course. And Blizzard and King. You go, how much? I say, $69.5 billion. I said, did you say million with an M? That's not enough for Activision. He said, no, that was billion with a B. And that made me spit my coffee out and say, let's go. Let's go. Yes. That's going to light the industry on fire. That is going to dominate news. PR guy cares about news, but that's going to light this industry on fire in an exciting way. Like, what's it mean if Xbox is going to go acquire Activision Blizzard King? And like, I want to be a part of that. I want to sit on that team and I want to figure out how we do that. I mean, that's crazy to consider an acquisition of that size, biggest in American business history at the time.
Right.
So that was a moment that made me go, aha, things are about to go crazy. And then, oh shit, things are about to go crazy. But also, you know, I could talk about the Activision Blizzard King acquisition and what happened. I would say for days, but a lot of it we're not supposed to talk about too. So I'll sit on some of it.
Sure. Okay. Going back a little bit further prior to the Activision Blizzard acquisition, tell me a little bit about the air in the room when you guys acquired Bethesda.
Awesome. Yeah. That was great too, because now that was a huge acquisition as well. If I got my numbers right, I think that was 14B. I think that was a $14 billion acquisition that we, I think we did announce that one over the holidays too, but now I can't remember. That was awesome because ZeniMax and Bethesda sit on so many amazing studios and have some of the best IP in history. Just give me Fallout and I'm happy as can be. Right. So doing that was cool because what that did, in my opinion, was a few years before that, Microsoft goes out and acquires Mojang. This is 2014, right? So when they acquired Mojang and Minecraft, that was like this flag in the ground that says Xbox is a player. Like there's this rumor Microsoft might spin off Xbox and get rid of it, like 2012, 11. And they were like, are going to go spend $2.5 billion to acquire Mojang and bring in the most played video game on the planet in Minecraft. So that helps set the stage. Then a couple years later, it was like, if you thought $2.5 billion for one studio was big, what do you see what we can do if we go try to grab ZeniMax and Bethesda? And like, just the opportunity to like see Todd Howard in person and watch him operate and watch how that dude thinks about video games. Bro, there's nothing like that. So that was really cool. So the air in the room when Microsoft brings in Bethesda was awesome. Like excitement. Like they've got good studios, but to bring in some of these additional world-class studios and to sit them right next to Xbox Game Studios was huge. Like that was the 2018 E3 showcase, if I've got my dates right. And that was a massive showcase. Massive when they announced that. So the air in the room at the acquisition, excitement. The air in the room at that year's showcase, those games were nuts. That was huge. So I missed the 3 days, which now I got to ask you a question.
What's cracking, brother?
Right? We got Xbox Game Showcase last week. You got Summer Games Fest last week. It's the first year I didn't go for a dozen years. It hurt my heart to not be there. What stands out for you, though? You're looking back at that game showcase, some of the other titles that come out last week. What's jumping out? What are you psyched for?
All right, so I mean, there's a lot that I'm psyched for. Like, there was one little game that was shown that, and I'm starting this out small and then going bigger as I progress along. But the small game that I seen that I was like, yo, this is really nice, and it kind of hit the feels of like nostalgia. Was that game Mixtape?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Mixtape where they're like jamming along, and then they show the car going down like the bridge, and it just reminded me of like, what am I watching, Full House or something? Like this just gave me a lot of nostalgia feels. But going from there, I mean, sure, that was a little game, but maybe a little bit bigger of a game that I thought was amazing was Expedition 33.
Nice. Good call.
The idea of having that turn-based combat like a Persona or a classic Final Fantasy with a mixture of like that quick time event Azura's Wrath kind of feel that you got from it as well, to me was like something special. Like it's like I get to play a turn-based game that keeps me on my toes even after I do a strike.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And then also, of course, finally seeing State of Decay pop its face out.
Yeah.
Finally seeing Perfect Dark pop its face out, and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Fable improved over the time from the last time it was shown. So it was like, yo, this is amazing. Of course, Gears of War. I mean, that was the showstopper. They put that at the end for a reason. There were many other games in that showcase that I was extremely excited for, including like Flintlock, which I'm not big into Souls games that much. But if you give me a gun, I'll give it a try. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was more than happy to check that out. But now I got to ask you a different question. How did it feel knowing that you were in the PR, like working for PR for Xbox, and then seeing now what was 2012 is completely flipped in 2024? 12 years, and the brand doesn't even look the same.
Yeah.
How did that feel, seeing all that?
It's true. It's true. It looks super different. Hopefully, at its core, it's still the best place to play games. And look, that's a question everybody can ask. I'm a homer. I still bleed green, so I think it is the best place to play games. Hopefully, at its core, it is. But the big difference, you're right, is like what I can appreciate as a storyteller, like I said earlier, is years ago, that's a brand that started to say, we want you to be able to play your games anywhere. And there was an initiative called Xbox Anywhere that first started to bring console games back to the PC. And like that was groundbreaking. In 2015, we went to GDC, I think, and said we're going to bring games back to the PC, console games to the PC. Like this isn't games for Windows Live anymore. This is your console games back on PC. So like I love and appreciate that. That's a brand that's been saying for years, we want you to play great games anywhere. And I love that that's kind of coming hard into fruition right now. Whether you play on an Xbox, you're good to go. Whether you play on a PC, you're good to go. Whether you play on a phone, there's all sorts of options for that with cloud. And then there's, our new extended reality headsets too. It's like there's so many options. So I really appreciate that they started telling this story a while ago and said it's going to take some time and not everybody's going to love it, but we just want you to be able to play games wherever you play games, because not everybody plays on their TV on a console. Not everybody can afford to buy every version of a new console. Like we got to make things accessible. Like that's a good word. So I'm proud that they are putting games everywhere, that they're doing some things that buck the trends a little bit. It's not always copy paste of what the last generation did. I think that kind of takes guts. So like, that's cool. I love watching them do their thing from the outside now. I love being surprised. Like I'm out of surprises now, or I'm out of inside information. It's all surprises. Like I knew stuff up until a couple weeks ago from my time there, but now I don't know what the future holds. And like, bro, that's exciting. Like that's what's up. That's what I want.
Yeah. Now you're just a fan,
just
right?
A fan, man. And I've got my favorite pieces of hardware around. Like I've got my favorite, special edition consoles and controllers and swag. And like, I got my favorite special edition consoles on my desk of Grogu and the Mandalorian. Like, I'm just going to go be a fan. And like, that's not bad. That's not a bad place to be. What's your favorite piece of limited edition hardware? Like you got to have it floating around back there somewhere.
Let's see. My favorite, it's still kind of software, but I really liked getting, as of recently, the Starfield thing that I got. And of course I got some like controllers and like I got the Forza controller. I got a couple of I got a couple things sitting around here. I can't remember all of it off the top of my head, but I got a few things that I acquired through my time, but I can't wait to continue to get more, and I'd really like them to come out with more, because it's been a while, or it's been very far and few between when they have these like special things, and then when they do, it's like a sweepstakes or something like that, and it's like, oh, I can't buy it. There's no way to be able to buy that. And one thing, like one of the probably the last thing that I'm going to ask you in pertaining to Xbox in particular is Ray Chi right here in my chat said Xbox everywhere needs more third-party support. I got to ask you, as a person within the PR, like, what was it like as you were kind of like in the midst of it? So I'd say like between like 2015 to 2018 compared to now. What is like, what are your thoughts on the way that certain third-party companies look at Xbox compared to past to now? Because it seemed like it was a little bit harder to get, the support from certain studios to be willing to put their game on the platform compared to now, where they're like, hell, I'll put it in Game Pass day one. And you're like, wait a second, you were not here at all last generation. You didn't want to be part of this pie at all. Now you want to be day one in a subscription service. Like that's right. Wild.
Yeah, that's a great example, right? Like in the early days of announcing Game Pass, it's such a revolutionary concept in gaming of like, we're going to put a subscription service out there, jam pack it full of first party games, like day one releases for first party games. And at the time they said every Xbox Game Studio game is going to launch in Game Pass day one. And there's not a ton of third party stuff, or at the time there wasn't a ton of new third party stuff. So like for me, my air at the time and my message and our message was kind of like wait and see, like this is gonna be the way. And here we are in 24, and like third parties are now loving to get in on the subscription service. People are making money, games are getting so much more play. Old games from a series come back into popularity when their new games are in Game Pass. Like it's a great way to engage customers and to give developers a way to restoke their old content. Like that's awesome. So back in the day when it first came out, it was this idea of like, wait and see, join us now, right? Jump in. right? Use the old Xbox slogan, jump in and join the generation now. But wait and see what something like Game Pass can do and subscription-based gaming. Like that is kind of where we're at right now. And again, that I can use it on my mobile anywhere and have so many quality games, like that's legit. Because I just want good games, right? I just want good games. I don't care where they come from. I just want them. And putting them all in one place makes it so much easier for me. So, you have to be the first through the door. And that was, I think, what Microsoft recognized was you got to be the first through the door, and you got to put your money where your mouth is and take all those first party games and just put them into Game Pass day one and show people like there's a way to do this that'll keep customers like super happy with their games and what they're getting. And that can keep developers in a good place to like keep their business going strong too.
Did you start to notice, like, as you were like as your time was like ending towards Microsoft, that the air kind of within the room has shifted in like not for Xbox employees and whatnot, but more or less for the rest of the world and third party support and developers and stuff like that? Did you start to notice like, hey, these people are actually answering the phone now?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, yeah, it felt like all business was doing really well. Like Game Pass is doing really strong. First party studios are on fire. Third party studios are on fire. People are just coming together to just get great games to gamers. Like that needs to be the play. Get great games to gamers. And like one of the things that I've never loved about the industry are like marketing exclusives, right? Like a game is being held from another place, being held from another platform, or a marketing exclusive. That means one platform might have the game but can't talk about it. Like I don't love that. That is the nature of marketing business. It happens. So just like the ability to break past that sometimes is like such a good thing, because let's just get rad games. Let's just get rad games and like let's talk about rad games and like let's help a rising tide lift all boats. So yeah, I felt pretty good about that. When my time was coming toward a close at the end of 23, like I thought they were in a pretty killer spot. I didn't do anything to help raise that profile. The gigantic team, so many teams doing awesome work. But I was pretty lucky to get to be a part of it for a little while.
No doubt. And I got to ask you, as a person that, is now a head of PR, head of public relations, right? And now you work at Xreal. I got to ask, not only for me, but for everybody else out there. Like, I've always like when I was younger, I envisioned myself being like a PR guy, kind of like yourself, but I never ended up there. Right? So I got to ask you, like, how do you kind of finagle yourself into getting into a role just on the bottom level of something like public relations? Because like me myself, I mean, I have a degree, but I don't know what the heck to use it for. And then like there's so many other people that are out there and figuring things out with and without degrees. I'm wondering, how much does something like school, or maybe just knowing the right type of people and stuff like that, seem to be involved in getting yourself into a position to be where you want to be, whether it is Xreal, Xbox, or whatever?
Yeah. So for me, there's a couple things. I always had a bit of a philosophy as a PR guy of two like core tenets, and this is just things that I think about when I practice PR with my guys at Xreal, when I was with Xbox, when I was doing it with other Microsoft teams, when I did it with LG Electronics. A whole nother chapter was, you need to know your product better than anybody. And your product could be anything, right? Whether it's a service, whether it's a piece of hardware, whatever your product is, you need to know it inside and out. So you need to know your product better than anybody. And then you need to be additive to the ecosystem, right? Like if you pull back from the ecosystem and others in the industry, and you're not adding into the industry and helping push things forward, I think you're rowing in the wrong direction. So
can you maybe give an example for that?
To do that. Sure. And I'll come back around on one more thing that you just mentioned, right? Like,
okay.
Like I said earlier, PR people are storytellers. We find what the story is from our brand, and we want to tell it to the world, through other storytellers. So like what you're doing and what we're doing right now, like, I think is a whoa, we're halfway there. Like, you are telling stories day in and day out, right? You have the channel, you have an audience, you have a voice, right? You're already doing PR. You're just doing it on a different view. You do it from more of the key opinion leader, influencer, content creator point of view instead of the corporate point of view. But we're doing similar things. Right? That's why we should work together. Like, I'm not trying to give a case why people should make it easy on PR people. A lot of people don't love PR people, but we're just trying to get stories out there. So people with channels and a voice are doing the same thing. So I think you've already got the chops and you're heading in the right direction, right? Your channel's proof of that, which is awesome. Like, that's what's up. That's the
awesome. So you said I'm already working in that direction, man. I mean, I'd love to be able to like represent a company that I actually believe in, that I want to, see strive and do something. I've always been a promoter kind of person, right? So I guess you're kind of right where you're saying I'm already kind of doing it, just not on a corporate level or something like that.
There's a way to turn it, yeah.
Because when I'm happy about something, I want everybody to see it. I want everybody to check it out for themselves. I want everybody to try it. So with that being said, you're Mr. Head of PR for Xreal as it is currently, and you just prior to the show starting threw the glasses on and whatnot. And I was all talking about like what I thought about it and whatnot. If you guys don't know, Xreal is a AR. Actually, let me let you go on ahead and tell everybody what it is.
Thank you very much, my friend. Like, you're welcome to. And next thing I got to do, I'm going to put a pair of glasses on your shelf. So I'm going to send you a pair after this.
Snap,
you can start playing with them firsthand. But what is Xreal? So Xreal is an AR company, and we're the market leader in consumer AR and AR glasses, which means we make and we ship this product, right? So this is a pair of our AR glasses. Hopefully it looks like a pair of sunglasses. We connect to phones, PCs, Macs, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch.
Timeout.
All these.
How do you connect to a console?
Yes, we use some cables, right? You got to get a tether, you get a tail in there, but it's pretty easy, right? We connect the tail to the back of the arm, and then that connects into a little dongle that's got HDMI on one side. So we connect into HDMI, plug that into the back of the Xbox. I just send a pipe up into my glasses. And what our glasses do, it gives a giant 120-inch to 320-inch virtual screen floating out in space. Like, I can make my arms too big.
You sending this to me right before college football,
dog? Bro, by the way, that game is going to be everything to me. I'm going to do everything game. But that's what we do. So we make these AR glasses that we can do any experience with, right? I can play all my video games through it, whatever that source comes from, because the glasses aren't doing the processing. They're not a computer. They're passing through the video into a giant screen. So I can plug the glasses directly into a Steam Deck. So I get the power of a Steam Deck. I get the versatility in the games of my Steam Deck, but I take it off of that screen and I put it into a giant screen out in space. And it's not what I think some people might be expecting. Like, 480p small view, it's 120 inches. It's 1080p full HD coming into both eye. It's like your TV. And that means you take your TV anywhere you go, right? So like, I'm using them on the train when I'm heading into downtown. I use them on flights when I'm flying across the country. I use them at home if my lovely wife is watching a TV show that I can't stand watching and I don't have a second TV. I do it all through my
If there was shades on the couch, that's great.
She might ask me to leave the room, but that's a different story. But that's the portability, right? Like, I won't overly PR guy you on our stuff, but like, this is a form factor that's super easy to carry, right? We can do with our AR glasses really similar experiences to what Meta's doing with their Quest headsets, to what Apple's doing with Vision Pro. And we do it through something that weighs 80 grams. That's like 2.5 ounces that I carry literally on my head. Like, I'm not dunking on them, but a Vision Pro is the size of your carry-on, right? That becomes your carry-on if you're going to take it on a flight. I wear mine on top of my head.
Compared to something just hanging out on your chest right there, right?
We could do it all. We could do all of it. So
now what I want you to do real quick before you continue, because I mean, I'm stoked hearing about all this stuff, and it's wild how much versatility this thing has. But I want you to give me a situation, a fun little situation where you didn't say a word, but it marketed itself out in public?
Here's what
And
I
you
do.
were just
So,
like, you put yourself purposely in a spot where you knew somebody was going to
course.
see you and
Of course.
ask you, what the hell are you doing?
Of course, right? So like I travel a lot for work with my guys. We're all over the place. I travel to meet media and influencers and content creators. We go to events like CES, Game Developers Conference. So I fly a lot. So I wear my glasses on top of my head and I have audio running through it because we have audio that goes through the sides of it. So like as I walk through an airport, I have them on top of my head or I have them cover my eyes, and I'll probably listen to a podcast. I might have a video going, like I might have a YouTube video running in the corner because I can do that
So
too.
you can adjust where the video is on it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you have to be able to
How
do
do you
that.
do that
It's
with
not
no,
static.
like, there's no controller? Like, how do you do that?
Controller,
Oh,
right?
snap.
So we plug into something, right? So we plug into something. We plug into most phones. We have a way to plug in, iPhone 15. I can use an adapter and plug into older iPhones. I can plug into most Android phones. We connect to something, and then all the power comes off of that thing, right? It comes off my phone. So I throw my phone in my pocket. I let the phone do all the work. So like I said, maybe I'm listening to a podcast. Maybe I'm watching a YouTube video. It could do literally anything that comes off of the phone. But what I'll do is I get to my gate and I'll sit down at my gate and I'll have my glasses on, and I'll pull out an Xbox wireless controller, or I'll pull out my Steam Deck or my ROG Ally and sit there playing with the glasses on, clearly just staring off into space, not neck down looking at the device. Because
Oh man, that
when
neck down be killing you after a little bit.
when we do that, right, that's bad for our head, neck, and shoulders. It's bad for our posture. Sometimes we pull that screen way too close to our eyes if it's a smaller screen. So like I play in the airport all the time off of airport Wi-Fi or off of my phone's 5G with my glasses on. And to the point where like somebody will probably pay attention. I don't need them to. I'm not fishing, but if they do, I'm going to be happy to talk about it. And I do it to the point where I always travel with an unopened box so I can give somebody a free pair in the airport, because I want them to go, yeah, man. Like I want them to go be an evangelist. I want them to have a good experience with a guy they've never heard of, maybe with a company they haven't heard of yet. But if they haven't heard yet, they're gonna, because like the verge is happening. So I meet people in the airport. I give them a free pair one at a time. Like I can't just be throwing bones out to everybody. But I will travel with a free pair to give out. Yeah. I'll travel with a free pair to give out to folks. And then as soon as I hit my flight, right, as soon as I hit my seat on the airport, man, on the flight, I sit down, my glasses are on, and I'm probably switching over to either like a local downloaded game, something I could actually play on a flight, or I'm watching my movies and TV, right? So like my last flight 3 weeks ago, I finally caught up and finished all of the Bad Batch that I downloaded off Disney Plus. And I was like, watching that, on a big screen on a flight is the only way, because watching on a small screen on a flight, like brutal. So then I'm watching my movies or I'm playing games on the flight again, resting my head back and just staring at the fuselage of the airplane where my screen is as big as the damn airplane. Like that's the way to travel. And that helps. That catches a little bit of attention too, which, I don't hate that.
So was there any moments in which like you hooked up somebody with a pair of those glasses, they got it figured out for themselves, and they came back up to you like, bro?
Yeah. This was a good one. I was in the airport in Las Vegas after CES. So CES takes place in January, big consumer electronics show. I'm in the airport in Las Vegas. I'm coming home, and I'm doing my glasses, sitting at a restaurant. I got a drink. I got a hamburger, and like there was a pair of fishermen who do like deep sea fishing in Alaska sitting next to me. And like, these are tough,
they're in
rough and tumble dudes. Yeah. They were leaving Vegas, going up to Alaska to get going with whatever they had next. And like, I think they weren't the most tech savvy dudes, right? Like, but they were, tough guys, but they saw me sitting there watching something through my glasses. And this guy was like, man, what is going on? What are you doing? Like, let's talk about it, brother.
You're like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. And like, look, it's great. It's great when the answer to what are you doing is this, I got my beer here. I got my hamburger. It's here. Take a look for yourself. Go ahead. Just put these on and find out. And it's a wow moment for people when they put on something that they didn't know existed. And when they pop it on and like, you know, there's Netflix at 1080p or there's a video game on a 130-inch screen. And they're like, it feels like wizardry. It feels like magic the first time. So being able to show people that, I gave that dude a pair. There was 2 of them. I could only give hook up the one guy. But I got an email from them, you know, shortly thereafter, you know, just being excited about taking it, you know, on some deep sea fishing rig out in Alaska where, you know, they don't have TVs on those things. So this guy was telling me like
something to do in the downtimes.
Got a big screen, you know, in a place that I normally wouldn't have a big screen. So that was cool. That was pretty good.
Oh man, that's an amazing story. Now I got a question. I know we're running short on time.
We're cool.
And you let me know. You just be stern and say, "Yo, bro." but anyways, what I'm gonna pick at you a little bit more, and I'm gonna ask you now about Xreal in particular. Seeing like that, like when was that company founded and came out and, you know, started doing its thing?
Yeah, we were founded in 2017. So at the time, you've got like Magic Leap is making headsets at the time. Oculus, before Meta bought them, was making VR headsets at the time. 2017, like VR headsets are out there, but they're helmets, right? The big helmets,
Right.
They're ski goggles. Now they are also VR. Like it's a different category when you think VR versus AR. Like those are fully blocking your face. You can't see through those. Today you can, like Vision Pro and Meta Quest have done a good job giving you video see-through. But at the same time, like glasses mean I can literally see through the glasses and let my eyes do what they were supposed to, see the environment around me, right? Like there's no camera better than my own eyeballs.
It gives you choice of focus.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So yeah, company was founded in 2017. We started making AR glasses, and there weren't AR glasses before we did this, right?
So you guys were the inventor of AR glasses.
Yes. So in 2010, Google's got Google Glass, which is unique. It's a bar, goes behind your ears, and add this tiny little projector. And it was really revolutionary. And Google Glass didn't make it. The industry wasn't ready. Consumers weren't ready. 2010 wasn't ready. But it wasn't a consumer grade pair of glasses. Like there weren't consumer AR glasses until we made them. And that helped us get a jump out on the market. You know, we've made the most, we've sold the most. We are the worldwide leader in this space. So we're excited to be there. Like we're going to keep innovating.
Kicking ass right now.
Your words, but I'm not going to dispute it. Yes, we are. We're doing good. We're doing good.
He's like, my own chest.
AR is a hot industry right now, right? Like Vision Pro is a really cool MR device, and like Quest is a great device. Like we're pretty sure that we see the industry going really hard into the glasses form factor. And like you can see that today with like Meta Ray-Bans. I got a pair of Meta Ray-Bans right here with a camera built in. Like that's cool. It's cool at taking photos. It's cool at giving me AI and audio. And like there's more and more smart glasses right now that are able to do like a non-video experience. Our bread and butter and our focus is on full cinematic visuals, like a full video experience. That's not built into those AI glasses yet. They're coming, but we're going to hopefully have that good market leadership position. And hopefully we can show people how we are innovators in this space with some of the like real cool stuff we have on the horizon.
So we'll get to the cool stuff here momentarily. Not that what I'm about to ask you isn't cool though. What I'm about to ask you is like, how in the heck did you guys understand like, yo, we're creating this device. The world wasn't ready for Google's device. How do you then take something that seems to not even be like regular and revolutionize it to a point where it's like, hey, we can comfortably market this? Like, how did you kick off marketing or like, how did you and the crew or whatnot kick off marketing for something that already was trying to, you know, climb its way out of a hole?
Yeah. It's a good question. And, you know, it's 2017. I'm still at Xbox at the time, so I can't take any responsibility for what my guys did back then. But what they did do was they believed in their vision. And when I said a few minutes ago, one of my kind of principles of a PR guy is know your product better than anybody. What I loved about Xreal was they knew exactly what they wanted to make. They knew exactly what their vision was, and they knew how to do it, right? Like they took the concept of what Magic Leap was doing at the time and what Oculus was doing and HTC Vive and said, like, we can do it in glasses. And whether we know how or not, we're going to figure it out, right? They had a real vision to like, this is where we're going to go. So they started taking all that tech and packing it into something like this. So it was vision. It was having a vision for what to do and then innovating hard and fast. And like, it doesn't hurt that the company was founded by a couple geniuses who are like incredibly tech savvy, who know how to make amazing products. Like that's a really good start. And then just like sticking with
they
the
already
vision
know
and
what they're
iterating.
doing and stuff like that. All you got to do is like tell people where to get it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So like they started to build something really cool from 2017 onward, started shipping like glasses like this just in 2022. So it's only been about 2 years
Oh,
of
wow.
shipping a pair of glasses in this form factor. That's fast. Right. But like in that same time, in the past year in particular, like that AI smart glasses race is getting like scorching hot. Right. Like everybody's in the lab making glasses, whether they're announcing it yet or not. And I won't announce other people's products,
Sure.
but like you could bet
As you should.
if somebody's got a VR headset today, they're going to flip it into a pair of glasses, right? Like it's more comfortable. It's more, it's easier to wear. It's easier to take. It's easier to travel with. It's like, they're going to flip into that. So our guys had a vision from the start, which was awesome. And like, we're kind of exercising that vision now, which feels really good to like introduce new products, introduce so much tech built into something so small. And that, quite frankly, is like a fraction of the price of that other big giant headset that the guys in Cupertino make.
Okay, so when you started working at Xreal, like what was that like? Did you are you already familiar with who they were and what they did, or were you walking in like, the fuck is going on? Like what was going on in your head when you first started at Xreal? And I'm sure there was some stuff on the resume that said, "Hey, I can help you out in this area and that area and whatnot." But what made you feel confident that Xreal is where you want to be and this is what I want to support, and this is the vision that I kind of see going forward?
Yeah. So I did know about them because for almost a year, I had a pair sitting in my shopping cart, right? In my Amazon box, in my Amazon cart. And I was like, I want these to play Xbox because I got one TV at home and my lovely better half is watching some show that I don't want to watch. So if I want to play Xbox on the big screen and I don't want to play it on my PC, or I want to get bigger than like streaming to my phone, I was like, are these AR glasses the way? Do these guys have it figured out? Have they cracked the code? So that was sitting in my shopping cart for a while. It was in the back of my head, like, do they have it? Like, is this the thing? So like, I thought always that this was like a really exciting space. And it was like, all right, I want to, I could see exploring the AR space. I feel pretty good about what I know about video games. Maybe I can bring over some of that and some of my tech background. But then once I met the team and the folks who were building these and realized like, this is a real deal company who knows how to succeed in AR and who wants to bring AR glasses to everyone. I'm like, they got a motto, make AR available for everyone. That means make it affordable. That means make it fashionable. That means make it accessible. Can't be $3,500. So like, I wanted to support that. Like, that's something I believe in, right? Like, yes, let's bring technology to the masses. Let's give people cool stuff. And I was at a position where like, Xbox is going to be fine. They don't need me. I need them. I like working here. I want to support something that I can believe in. And like, I believe in what Xreal's doing and what we're making, and like what's on the roadmap is so sick. So it was real exciting to kind of make a pivot and go from one of the biggest brand names in the world to a brand name that is like on the verge, like is about to make it, is about to blow up.
Yeah, they're cracking the egg.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that was important for me to like take that and see what we can do with it. And it's only been 9 months since I've been here, but like madly exciting. Like, again,
You sound
what
in
we're
love.
doing is awesome.
You sound in love. I mean,
Yeah.
I think many people would be jealous to see the way that you talk about your company compared to, what they have to clock in for, every other day or whatnot. But so I only got a few more questions before we exit out of here because I want to respect your time. I'm sure you got other things that you need to do for the rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
But
I got a media briefing coming up. I'm about to tell a reporter about a secret new product that hasn't been unveiled yet. So I'm gonna get on the
oh,
phone and tell somebody about some new secrets.
oh man, dang! I wish I was right after that.
I'll tell you about it off mic. I tell you what, off camera.
Perfect.
Off camera, off
Yeah,
mic.
yeah.
I'll tell
Off
you all
stream,
about
we'll
it.
talk about that just briefly. But what I was gonna ask is with Xreal and you guys wanting to be like available to everybody, right? How do you see things getting cheaper for certain products? Like you said, as of right now, there's a 1080p uh goggles or whatnot. Do you guys have a 4K one? Do you guys have like something that's gonna like reach extreme heights when 8K comes around or something like that? Like what is your guys' vision
Mhm.
in moving along new devices while trying to,
Mhm.
maybe knock the price down for other, older models and stuff like that to get people into the ecosystem?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Right. So there's a couple ways to approach it because we have multiple generations of our glasses now that come in at multiple price points. So we will lower the price on older generations as newer generations come in, which is typical, right? Like you would
Will
see
you
an
guys
Xbox
continue to
360
support
go
those
down in
with
price as
updates and
Xbox
stuff?
One comes into market. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes,
That's a
yes,
big deal.
because they get all their power off of the host device, right? Our glasses get all their juice off the phone, off the PC, off the other thing. So, yes, our glasses will keep working well even when we make new ones that have more tech built into them. So, we will continue to find ways
Uh-oh.
you can do that. What I'm going to go tell this reporter about is something we'll unveil to the world next Tuesday, June 18. So I can't get into what it is right now, but we're announcing a new product that's going to make it just so much easier for people to like get in on the AR space, for people to adopt our glasses if they don't really know how or don't know what to do with them. We're going to show off something really cool next Tuesday, the 18th. That'll make sure I send to you also. That'll just make it more accessible, like give people like the least friction to get into an emerging space.
Okay. Who had the idea to make this thing so open? Like, why not pick a specific company to ride for or something like that? Because you know how, certain companies will like team up with Xbox or team up with PlayStation or whatever that cardboard company that teamed up with Nintendo. Like, so like what made you
Yep.
guys be like, you know what, I don't want to team up with nobody. We are us, and you use this however you want. Like as soon as you buy it, it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah. 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 So I'll talk about this, and I got a jet after that because I've got a reporter banging down my door. PR
No
guy
doubt.
has got to go talk to press. So it was important to use. I'll use the word accessibility again, like to be available to customers. Important to make products that are as accessible as possible to people wherever they are in life, wherever they are in the world, wherever they are in their socioeconomic status. iPhones, Android phones, Steam Deck, MacBooks, Windows PCs, something that was decided from the early days. And I think that's just important, right? Because once you start blocking people from technology, like, what are we doing here, right? Like, we want more people to adopt this kind of tech. We want to bring augmented reality to everyone. And the way to do that is to find the right partnerships and make your products really accessible with other things.
Yeah, I mean that sounds incredible, and it's wild that you're able to do that so freely, because I know there's a lot of, like in particular, there's ways that companies will try to block you from being able to use a product on that's not theirs. But you guys somehow figured out a way to be like, screw it, we're passing through no matter what. We're gonna use this no matter what, and there's nothing that you could do about it because it's it's like free of use or whatnot. But brother, thank you so much for being here this evening and being able to sit down, answer some questions, being able to talk about your time at Xbox, talk about your current happenings with Xreal and how you guys are blowing up. I cannot wait to hear more about it from you guys, and I'd love to maybe have you back on at another time when you do have some more time, instead of me trying to hurry up and get as many questions in on you as possible right now. Let's just relax, have a good time. You guys out there, thank you so much for tuning in. This is your boy Ham Solo 05 hanging out with Ralph Jodice Jr. from the head of PR at Xreal, and we're here to let you guys know to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. Sayonara.